Due to the medical marijuana industry, it seems that there has been a drop in the number of prescriptions for prescription painkillers, specifically opioids, that have led to a huge heroin epidemic here in the United States. Now, this is according to a study that was recently published, and it says that states that legalize medical marijuana, which is sometimes recommended for symptoms like chronic pain, anxiety, or depression, saw declines in the number of Medicare prescriptions for drugs used to treat those conditions and a dip in spending by Medicare Part D, which covers the cost on prescription medications. So the researchers specifically looked at the costs associated with Medicare Part D, and they noticed, oh look, ever since they've legalized marijuana for medicinal use, in many states, dozens of states in the U.S., we've seen a drop in the amount of money that this system has to spend on painkillers, right? So prescriptions didn't stop for medicines such as blood thinners, for which marijuana is not an alternative. And also, medical marijuana saved Medicare about $165 million in 2013, the researchers concluded. They estimated that if medical marijuana were available nationwide, Medicare Part D spending would have declined in the same year by about $470 million. Now, keep in mind that marijuana is not covered by insurance because it's listed as a Schedule I drug. So the savings that you're seeing with Medicare Part D is now being shifted onto the patients, and they have to pay out of pocket. And so the next step is to get it reclassified as a Schedule II substance so insurance companies can cover it.
Okay, so this is amazing. First of all, this is great evidence. So on the one hand, the reason thing about blood thinners, the fact that you put in there is very, very important, because they don't think marijuana is a miracle drug that's going to cure everything. They're like, no, it has nothing to do with blood thinners. I need to take my prescription drugs. On the other hand, when they go to take marijuana for pain and depression and anxiety, all those other things, they're like, it works. That's why they keep doing it. So, and it costs so much less overall for society. So look at all the money we'd be saving, all the money we already saved, let alone the $475 million that we can save. If you're a conservative, don't you want the taxpayer to save that money? Mm-hmm. Then I want you to think about one other thing. They're going out of pocket because it's not part of insurance, obviously, as you just said, Anna. Mm-hmm. So, and this is for older people, let alone for younger people. This is for Medicare.
Yes.
So older people are going, I got to smoke some pot because it works better. It works so much better, I'm going to go out of pocket for it. And on average, they spend about $400 a month for their regimen. And they're willing to spend that extra money because it works that much better. Ironically, they got us addicted to prescription drugs. And they did it for a profit. And so we've got this drug that is not a miracle drug, marijuana, but that does a lot of amazing things. And I'm old enough that I got brainwashed into thinking marijuana was super dangerous when I was a kid, and for most of my life. So every time we see a story about how it could help people with certain ailments, I'm always coming a little skeptical. Like, really? Yeah. How's it? But it turns out we made the one, herb that does have some amazing properties. The one thing that's actually pretty damn helpful and additionally has the benefit of making you happy, that's the one thing we made illegal.
Yeah. And
that's unbelievable.
And look, we made it illegal for racist reasons. It was a way of criminalizing Mexicans and getting them out of the United States. That was one reason. But another reason is, look, when it comes to opioids, we're not going to create opioids in our garden. We can't grow opioids in our garden. I mean, maybe we can, and I'm just ignorant on it, so just educate me if I'm wrong. But growing marijuana is relatively easy. And so pharmaceutical companies can come up with marijuana products, but if they're too expensive, we have the power to grow our own. And they don't like that.
No, they don't. And so Anna's, of course, referring to originally when actually pot was legal in America, but in order to have a reason to discriminate against Mexican Americans, and this is clearly documented in American history, they made it illegal since a lot of people coming in from Latin America were smoking it, and then started calling it marijuana. Yeah. Okay. And then later in the war on drugs, and top Nixon aide admitted, he said in 1994, yes, we created the war on drugs because we wanted to target our enemies. We wanted to target the white hippies who we thought were doing drugs, and blacks. He said it. And blacks were our political enemies, and we thought they were doing drugs, so we started the war on drugs. We know why we started this insanity. We know it's insanity. We know that if we made it legal, we would, A, have better answers for some of what it ails us. B, we'd have a little bit more fun. For example, alcohol. What's the point of alcohol? Fun.
Right.
That doesn't cure you of anything other than, oh, I got a lot of problems in the world, let me grab a beer.
Yeah.
Right?
It might cure you of awkward Thanksgiving dinners with family members you don't like, but.
Right, it might cure you of your inhibitions as you're going to approach a girl at a bar.
Right.
Okay, but it doesn't have to have overwhelming positive value, but marijuana actually does. And it's a Schedule I drug. They claim it is so dangerous that you can't even do experiments with it.
I know.
The one thing it appears to be dangerous to, as we find out from this story, is the profits of pharmaceutical companies. And so I'm starting to worry about that, Anna, because now that they see, oh, this is, as we suspected, going to cost us hundreds of millions of dollars. That is one of the most powerful lobbies in America. They're going to come guns blazing, if you will, against legalizing efforts now.
You're right, and I knew that that would be an issue, so I looked up some lobbying numbers related to the pharmaceutical industry, and they did amp up their funding to our politicians when the issue of legalizing marijuana came up. So in 2013 alone, and I want to note, by the way, this lobbying money isn't only related to marijuana, okay? It's related to all the issues that pharmaceutical companies are concerned with. But in 2013 alone, Pharma spent nearly $18 million on lobbying, ranking it 9th in spending among all lobbying clients. Drug manufacturers gave big in 2012 elections nearly $21.8 million to various federal candidates and committees, as well as the parties.
And 2013 was an off year. There's no election in 2013. These guys have given billions of dollars overall to politicians in lobbying efforts, et cetera. And pharma is just one of the lobbies. So it goes on and on and on. Yes, they did it because they wanted to make sure that the government couldn't negotiate drug prices. That saved them billions of dollars. They did it for so that there was no public option. But they also did it for, hey, we don't want any competition. And this right here is competition, and they can't have it.